going on, everyone? Welcome to EMT. My name's Emad, and today I'm going to be showing you how to change the sway bar end length on this Honda Fit. Stay tuned.
Alright, so the first thing you guys are gonna need to do is, well, jack up the car using a jack and a jack stand. I have a video showing you how to use these tools properly. I'll link it up above for y'all if you need to know how to get this done. Alright, so now that you have the vehicle lifted in the air, it's time to remove the tire. Remember, Honda's use a 19mm lug nut. Now on this particular one, it did have one of those wheel locks on it, so you'd want to use that wheel lock removal tool, or if you have the wheel lock itself, you can just go ahead and remove it. Alright,
y'all, so now that we got the tire off and everything, remember, always use gloves and safety glasses. Let's go ahead and get these guys on here. Alright, now with all this safety, with all the safety stuff ready to go, we can go ahead and attempt to remove the sway bar end link, which is this guy right here. Now, the way this is done is via removing these two 14mm nuts. There's a couple of different ways you could do this. If you're lucky, you could just get it off with a socket and a ratchet. Now, the way this is looking and how much rust buildup is on here, this is not looking like it's going to be an easy job or just a job for this guy. So what I'm going to end up having to do is spray it down with a little bit of WD-40, like so. Then I'm going to be using a size 5 Allen key and a 14mm wrench. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide the wrench into here. Obviously now you need to give some time for WD-40 to work into the bolt. You're going to take the 5mm Allen key, slide it in there like so, and now while holding the key, you're just going to try to break that loose. Now the key here actually comes out and rests on the control arm. That actually works perfectly for us. Alright, so as we can see, there was actually so much rust buildup here that it just stripped the Allen key slot on here. So what we're going to need to do now is we're just going to need to actually lop this guy off of here. But before we do that, let's attempt to get the top one off. So the technique I'm using to kind of slowly work this out is I'm just switching the wrench back and forth, backwards, and then bringing it back out a little bit more, and doing that so I could work in the WD-40 into here. You know, hopefully your suspension's in much better condition than this. You know, if it is good for you. If it's not, and it's kind of like this is the way that you would do it. I'm already going to have to, again, cut the bottom one off, which really is not a big deal. I'll show you how that's done. There's no real issues with it, but let's go ahead and keep working. And if you guys know of an easier way to get this out of here and done, you know, please let me know in the comment section below. Otherwise, let's just go ahead and keep on working on it. Alright, y'all, so there's two different ways you can cut off that bolt. You could just use a die grinder with a metal cutting wheel on it. Those are the little skinny wheels. Or you can use a sawzall. There's obviously different things you can use to cut it, but those are the two mainstream things, I guess, that are available. You can use a plasma cutter. You can use those little air small cutter things. So there's a lot of different options out there. These aren't the only two options out there, but these are the only two that I have on hand. I am also going to be demonstrating each one for you today. So that being said, obviously when using these, please wear your protection equipment. Definitely use safety glasses when using these, especially with this guy. This guy loves to throw stuff. So yeah, safety glasses and gloves. You know, just there's no reason for you to not be wearing safety equipment while doing this. So all right, guys, let's go ahead and get that sway bar and link out. All right, y'all. So now also try to get the wheel turned in as much as possible this way, so you can get a better angle at the top one. The bottom one's not going to really move, but the top one should, since it's on the strut mount, and it did. What you want to do is you want to kind of get behind here. We were able to loosen it a little bit, so that gave us some area where we can get under behind this thing and go ahead and lop that off, and go ahead and lop this one off via the bottom. I'm going to cut this one off via the die grinder to show you how it's done, and I'm going to cut this one off with the sawzall to show you how that's done. So without further ado, let's go ahead and grab the die grinder. Remember, gloves and glasses. All right, so up first is the die grinder, and like I said, we're going to be using it on this top bolt right here. What you want to kind of do is you want to position the die grinder kind of like this. You want it in this general vicinity because you're going to be cutting off into there. Now with the die grinder, you want to also be careful how you hold it, because as you can see, if you're holding it right there, it could easily cut through your glove and into your hand, so you don't want to do that. What you can do, and I recommend you do, is actually flip it this way. Now most die grinders, you can actually remove this little piece right here and install it on the other side like so. And keep your hands away from it, so that way your hands are far away from the blade. Make sure your hands are far away from the blade. Some of these things have guards. I recommend you use them. I don't have a guard on this one because I have to really get to tight places with this a lot. So that's why I don't, but do as I say, not as I do. Now you want to kind of get the general placement of the blade, and then just pull the blade away a little bit, get it spinning, and then go ahead and place it in. Don't use a lot of pressure. There's no reason to use a lot of pressure with this piece of equipment. Just let the blade itself do the cutting. All right, let's go ahead and do this. Alright, so there goes the first one. Bolt that's going to come out from here is going to be molten hot. Do not let that touch you in any way, shape, or form. So that's that for this bolt. Also, when you're cutting, be careful not to cut into the shock absorber, top or bottom. Bottom is what's really important, because this is what houses the oil and such. This top right here, if you were to nick it, it's not really a big deal. So just be careful with blade cutting. Don't use a lot of force, like I said. Just let the blade itself do the cutting for you. All right, that being said, let's go ahead and remove the bottom bolt here. We're going to need to obviously get that cut. The way we do that is I'm going to demonstrate how to use a sawzall. The sawzall, you will need a metal cutting blade. It's the one with the smaller teeth on it, like this one right here. If you're going to be doing suspension work on a car, I recommend going with the smaller blade. This is the only one I had handy. Again, you will need to don protection equipment while using this tool. Your gloves, safety glasses. I don't know if you can see that, but safety glasses. And then we're just gonna go ahead, and it's kind of the same principle. You kind of want to and you're gonna want to place the blade in that general area right there. So blade placed right there. I'm actually going to move on to the other side so I can get a better hold of it. But what you're going to want to do is you want to hold it kind of like in this general fashion right there. They have different models of these. This one's the one that goes like this. They have ones that come out like that. They all do the same thing. They reciprocate, but this is generally how you want to hold this particular tool right here. So without further ado, let's go ahead and pop this guy off. With this one, actually, you don't have to have it pulled away, then reciprocate, then go ahead. No, you can actually just lay it down on the metal. And remember, don't use a lot of pressure. Let the blade do the cutting for you. Let's go ahead and cut that bolt off. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so as you can see, that's pretty much it. So that bolts out, and yeah, for the most part, that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and get the new one installed. There was definitely looseness in here, so that's a good thing we got this changed. Alright, so installing the new tie rod end. Yes, I know this is a weird color, but I'm a weird person, so it fits me perfectly. But let's talk about the way the new ones are installed. If you're using a factory Honda sway bar end link, install process is going to be the same, using a 14mm with a size 5 Allen wrench. But the new ones are this different brand name here. It is installed differently. It's installed using a 18mm wrench that holds the post there from moving, while using a 15mm socket to install the bolt on like so. So you have the 15mm socket here and the 18mm wrench holding the shaft from moving like so. This is kind of the setup that you're gonna have. I personally prefer this style over the factory Honda style. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get the new one installed. So I personally like to start from the bottom. So using your 18mm, just grab it from the back. Thread this on a little bit. So now that that's tight, to get this lifted up high enough in order to install this the top piece here, I don't know if you guys can see how high it is, but this is where it needs to go, and this is how high it is. I use one of these. This is just one of these little cheapo car jacks. It works perfectly for this, and literally I just use this exclusively just for stuff like this. So I'm going to go ahead and use this. I'm going to place it on the bottom ball joint right here. Be careful of your brake shield, you don't want to bend it. And then I'm just going to slowly jack the suspension up via this jack right here. Now sometimes these little cheapo jacks right here, they don't go up very high, so you can use a little block like so. So you just kind of place it there, and just kind of help you. This just makes it so the jack doesn't have to jack up as high there. Alright y'all, so I'm going to show you here. I have it, I don't know if you can see that, but I have it sitting on the ball joint of the vehicle. So when you lift it, it needs to make contact with the ball joint here. Watch out for the brake shield, you don't want to get that bent, and then you'll be making noises driving down the road and such. So yeah, let's go ahead and get that jacked up. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so as you can see, that's now in the proper place there. So let's go ahead and get this little 15mm bolt on there, like so. And same process as before. So I'm making sure that the top bolt is tight, making sure that the bottom bolt is tight. Go ahead and drop the little baby jack down. Again, do it slowly. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so that's pretty much it for this side. Let's go ahead now and throw the tire on this side, and we're going to do the exact opposite on the other side. Hopefully the other side goes by a little bit smoother and there's no need for cutting. So yeah, let's go ahead and do the other side.
Alright everyone, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like this video, like, share, subscribe. It helps me bring you guys better content. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, hey, just let me know in the comment section down below and tell me what you guys think of the video. Thank y'all and stay cool.